belongs to Michigan freshman Marion Ploger at the moment. Lane 1 on the bottom of the pool, Minnesota senior Elliott Kennedy. In lane 2, Indiana senior and bronze medalist in this event last year, Mariah Denigan. 2 really good freshmen in lanes 3 and 4. They'll factor in for Ohio State and Michigan for many years to come, I would imagine. Lane 3 is Rebecca Diakonescu from Michigan. And in lane 4, the top seed belongs to Ohio State freshman and Colorado native Mila Nikonarov, who has a seed time of 49.26 seconds. That is 5 seconds faster than Ching Gan, the defending champion in lane 5. Her seed time 15:54.48. Wisconsin senior Paige McKenna, certainly a force to be reckoned with. She's in lane 6. Genevieve Jorgensen from Nebraska, junior in lane 7, 5th place finish last year. And Catherine McCarthy, sophomore from Minnesota, swimming in lane 8. I'm interested to watch how Gan wants to maybe put a little pressure on the couple of freshmen in lanes 3 and 4 to see if they can handle the moment.
Yeah, Gan getting 8th last year at NCAAs in this event, but she's got a lot of folks in here who also have extensive experience in this event, maybe not on the Big Ten or the NCAA scale, but certainly coming in from high school and even at the U.S. level, just nationals last year. Of course, the U.S. trials. Mila, for instance, she qualified for U.S. Olympic trials in the 400, the 800, and the 1500. She was top 10 in the 800 and the 1500. And she was also a force to be reckoned with just at the start of the meet, the 4x200 freestyle relay. She put out a 1:44.88 for someone who's more on the heavy distance side. That's a sizable 200 freestyle, and certainly helped Ohio State secure an awesome race that night.
Mila, a really good distance swimmer. In fact, one of the great high school distance swimmers in Colorado State history. And obviously continued that on since her high school graduation, but she's got the state records in the 800 and the 1500 free. And a couple of Colorado high school state championships.
And the 1650 is really just so unique because it's the only event here that they're not swimming in prelims. So yes, thank goodness, I'm sure they're happy they're not doing 2 miles in a day, but it kind of gives you a reference point in the morning. How do you feel? How are your competitors looking? What was their race strategy? And taking a look at maybe splits and things like that and trying to iron out some kinks in the evening. With this, you're just hoping that the position you put yourself in all season long is going to place you in a good enough lane, in a good enough seed, that you're going to be in a comfortable position to really do something in finals. But we saw all afternoon long, we had the prelims of the of the 1650 going on, and sometimes, you know, you may see one of those women sneak into this top 8. So this is really a different and unique event.
All right, we don't want to bring too much attention, but since it happened so fast last night and we weren't able to show you a replay of what happened at the end of the evening, it seems like as good a time as any with such a lengthy race here. The Michigan disqualification came on an early takeoff. You can see Michigan there in lane 6. Deemed an early takeoff for the second swimmer. Unfortunately, we don't have a better look at it than that, but he said she left just a little early.
And unfortunately, you know, with relays, it just is, that's something that they are hammering in and day out at practice, because it is such a small margin of error and it can change so quickly, especially on a transition of different strokes. So at least if you're transitioning and everyone's doing freestyle, you can anticipate a little bit better, but the smallest thing can change. So your stroke count is off by a touch, and then all of a sudden you're anticipating, and maybe she dips down a little bit lower on her backstroke, or she didn't quite have her fingers placed right on the touchpad, and that's that difference of just a couple hundredths of a second that inevitably has a huge detriment in the end.
Michigan going to have their mentality tested and their pride tested on a night like tonight. They obviously are a talented group. I would argue that maybe the most emotional event victory that we've seen all weekend came yesterday when Stephanie Balducini, I don't want to say she stunned the field because she was plenty capable, but when she won the 200 freestyle out in front of Anna Peplowski, and Mina Abraham, I mean, watching Michigan's whole team pour out on the pool deck was kind of a moving moment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those tears spoke for themselves, and you could just feel the emotion. And that's why I hope that they really don't let, what happened in the relay deter them from what's possible tonight, because we've seen it happen before. And if you've been an athlete, you know that at times things happen, and it's not fair. It's, the way the cards fall. And we saw it happen last year, and it can make a big impact on the championships. Who's to say that something unpredictable could happen tonight? That could very well be in the cards. We don't know, which is why you can't let up. No matter what, you can't let a bad race, a bad start, something like that get underneath your skin and really kind of impact your mentality, because it can slow down your momentum. Just as much as when we've been asking the women, when you start off a race and you get the first win for your team, that can really amplify how the rest of the team feels and how they react going forward. Same can go when someone has something that is upsetting. So you want to leave that where it is. It's last night, it's done, it's over with, it's a fresh day, it's the last night. They've had a remarkable championships. You can't take that away from them. And so there's no reason why they can't do something spectacular, even after a slight upset last night.
Obviously, last year is the prime example of why you got to mentally stay in it, because Indiana DQ'd in a relay and thought they were going to be going home, empty-handed. And it turned out the next day the Buckeyes did the same thing, and all of a sudden then it evened itself out. And of course, last year's Big Ten championship, I don't know about you, I mean, personally, it's one of the most fun events I've ever called in any sport. To come down to half a point.
I've never seen that.
In the last event of an entire meet like that, that was an amazing finish.
I've seen it in a dual meet setting. I've seen it on a much smaller scale, but over a multi-day championship, that stunned me as well. I was at a loss for words, and I'm sure it was anxiety-provoking as the athlete, but as the viewer, I mean, that's what you hope for, that you want to grind it out till the end, you want to battle it out. Not that it's any less exciting if you know you're going to win going into the final session, but that's really what athletics is all about. It's battling to the very end.
The drama and the suspense certainly filled the natatorium in West Lafayette, Indiana last year when we were at Purdue. We'll see if we have similar circumstances present themselves as the night progresses here in Columbus. All right, we are roughly halfway through the women's 1650. We're going to subside our commentary here for just a few minutes and let our public address system carry a bit of the middle of this race. But as you can see there in lane 5, Gan has paced herself nicely out in front of Mila Nikanarov and Rebecca Diakonescu. Lead is about a second and a half. It looks to be just more than one body length. We'll see if there's ever a point where the Ohio State freshman wants to press her luck and make a surge. So we'll keep on watching as Ching Hwee Gan, senior from Indiana, tries to defend her title in the 1650.
Gan Ching Hwee. Referee comes to the back of the pacing. Even with Nicaragua. Also picked up the pace for 29 on that last rookie. This is a great swim in lane number 5 for Jim Gann, senior from Indiana. Gann coming in for 15:34.48. Big Ten meet record 15:43.17.
I've been watching Ching Hwee Gan, young lady from Indiana, the defending champion in this event, who was seated 5 seconds behind Ohio State freshman Mila Nikanorov. And I don't know if that just lit a fire underneath her or what. She's been amazing tonight, and I would say at this pace, she's got a shot to maybe have a new personal best here. Best time she ever swam 2 years ago at NCAA's 15:46.28. Ching Hwee Gan right now is a good 5 seconds in front of Mila Nikanorov. Mila came in, by the way, 15:49.26, the 5th fastest swim in the country this year. Gan is cooking right now. Now Nikanorov has closed that gap a little bit. Let's see if maybe we get a little bit of a race out of this here toward the end.
And this is why, especially in the 1650, those numbers on paper, you just really have no idea how they're going to end up stacking up at the end of the night. You know, when you don't have that prelim swim to compare to, you're just looking at how these athletes have performed over the course of the week, so it can be a very different race when it comes time.
Well, the difference between Gan and Nikanorov has shrunk by 0.4 of a second. But Ching Hwee Gan appears to be well on her way to defending her title in the mile. Indiana had 2 swim and 1 diving win yesterday, and they start the night with a gold in the pool. Ching Hwee Gan, 15:46.22.